Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Ivory Tower Boiler Room Rewatches. Today we are discussing episode 6 for Smash Chemistry. Today we have Dr. Andrew Rimby with us today discussing this episode. Andrew, you have some Smash Broadway related topics that you'd want to pull up. Did you want to discuss that?
Sure. So if you all out there didn't know, on Instagram, Smash on Broadway has an Instagram account now. So at Smash Broadway, which I now just followed from my Ivory Tower Boiler Room account, they had this post on February 22nd um, that says the producers haven't approved this yet, but who cares? What else do you want to see? And it shows an image in black and white of Robin Herder, who's playing Ivy, doing one of the musical numbers. So that's exciting. They had like a video about Let Me Be Your Star, and Ivy crosses out Karen's name. So they're being nice and playful with this like cat fight between Karen and Ivy. So yeah, there is the Smash news. Sadly, there's been Broadway closures. Spamalot is closing April 7th. Um, and I feel like Broadway right now is facing a financial panic. So I feel like Smash is unfolding on the Times Square stage as you'd have it, where a lot of these newer musicals are just not able to sustain numbers. So, like, I don't really know of any new musical, unless you do, Christian, within the last year that's actually stayed longer than 6 months.
Hmm, that's a question. I honestly have no idea, man, other than Wicked and back when Phantom was a thing. Lion King still's running.
Well,
Um,
I mean, musicals
in
that
the
have opened
last,
in the last
yeah.
year.
No,
Because
I
I
haven't.
think even Moulin Rouge was before the pandemic, if I remember.
It was, yes.
Yeah, maybe and Juliet.
And Juliet, that was definitely during the pandemic. Yes, that was definitely during the pandemic, but that is still going.
That's still
Hopefully.
going.
Yeah.
But yeah, like any new openings, they just are,
Like
it's
Bad
hard.
Cinderella, that one was closed recently. We had
How about Pearly Victorious?
oh yes.
Yeah. I think is that closed?
I think so. I also heard that there was an update for Mary Poppins, but I'm not sure if that's either coming to the UK or if it's coming to Broadway. So,
Mm.
I just saw that announcement yesterday. But they're announcing something today, which I have. I need to look that up.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean, there's exciting new openings. There's The
yeah,
Outsiders
but I
musical.
just wish there
There's
were shows that actually were still sustaining since the pandemic because I'm not sure what audiences are looking for nowadays.
yeah. Well, I think they're looking for um affordable tickets,
Yes. Hmm.
which I think is the issue. Um, and I understand that these theaters need to make money, but I just think the government, New York City has to step in and give a grant or like
Hmm.
at least some backing to these Broadway theaters because
Because they can't expect the audience to pay everything for them. Like I
yeah,
remember, if you
that's
remember
true.
when Funny Girl was still playing, they charged like over $400 for a ticket,
Hmm.
over
I
400,
know.
$500.
Well, because I'm so excited to see The Great Gatsby. And I mean, as we're recording
Oh,
this, I love your Wicked shirt because
thank you.
um, I'm doing taking the group to see Wicked.
Yep.
Probably already just did it when this comes out. But on April 7th, we have our Wicked virtual book club, $4
Hmm.
a month for anyone who wants to join, ivorytowerboilerroom.com. And like what I'm so excited about is hopefully there's so much energy bringing this group together that I want to do Sunset Boulevard, The Wiz, maybe The Great Gatsby. And so there's a lot of exciting musicals coming. I sometimes I just don't understand why these Broadway theaters, I'm sure there's all these logistics, but why don't they start a subscription series on Broadway like you do in community theaters? Like why can't you do like 4 shows, for the year for like $300 or
Well,
350 or like you choose a price and you can like choose 4 shows to see on Broadway.
That makes sense.
I'm sure it has to do with like the theater companies and all of these gatekeeping rules that they have,
Hmm.
which we kind of see with this episode in a way with Eileen.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, yeah. So no, that's all the news on the Broadway front, but I think Broadway is going to have to become creative if they want to sustain any type of audience right now.
I agree. I agree entirely. But aside from Broadway, let's dive into the episode. Andrew, what did you think? Were there any points that you wanted to point out while you were watching it?
Yeah, I would say this episode, I really thought it was so interesting that Ivy really comes to this realization that Derek doesn't care at all about her mental state of mind or her
Yeah.
psyche. So I thought like that was a breakthrough. Um, and that he sees her as a commodity and just an object, very much similar to like how Marilyn would have been treated. So I thought like we were getting a lot more of her being objectified
Mhm.
by Derek. And all he cares about really was her voice being lost, not about who Ivy actually is. So that's where
Right.
I came out at this episode from that vantage point.
I agree. I mean, I also rewatching it again, I just had to tisk at Karen's greenness again, yet again. What a surprise. But it's coming to a point where it's just like she doesn't know any of these either music directors or Broadway producers, and it's just coming to a point where it's like, do your research.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think Karen, her not knowing these Broadway, um, like you said, those in the business,
Hmm.
producers or record producers, even when the ensemble tries to give her the out that she's from Iowa, that's not an excuse though for her
It's
not to
not.
understand. Like most of those who are in the ensemble or in a cast are not from the New York area. So like,
Mhm.
you know,
Like, who are
just
they
go
to
to
tell her that
yeah.
she's too green for anything when they probably don't even know who the heck anyone else is in the Broadway world since they're so shunned, not shunned, but they claim to have more experience than her.
Mm. Oh, you don't think that they are on the up and up of knowing all the different like Rolodex of people?
Oh, I'm sure, but I think that they're just trying to one up her
Oh.
again in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that Karen has a nonchalant is very nonchalant about like all of her the process of rehearsing or the process of like actually being in this like workshop experience. So I I think that she could take this more seriously
She's
and like
taking
that
it as if
even
it's a
yeah.
joke.
Yeah,
And
like I don't she doesn't seem committed to wanting to be in a Broadway musical or even like do a record deal or like any kind of opportunities. The bar, the bar mitzvah, like she
oh
was
my
so
God.
checked out.
You know,
I would have fired her.
I was going to I was going to mention that because when she first hears of this gig that Ivy can't do because her voice is bad, well, after it was first given to an ensemble, and then Ivy got it, and then Ivy's like, "No, I can't do it," and then it went to Karen. It's like Karen just took it as like she wasn't sure what the heck it was because she's never been to a bar mitzvah before,
Hmm.
and she basically just took it as if it was just another job. Which, in all fairness, it is, but at the same time, she has to be professional. And she's like, oh no, I'm late because there were no cabs. I thought there would be cabs around, but no.
Well, see, that's the thing is I enjoy a spontaneous person. Like I think
Mhm.
that
Jesus,
there's
Miss Fun.
um Derek really likes I Karen's greenness, but like he sees it as a breath of like fresh air of
Mhm.
rawness and raw talent, which he thinks Marilyn possessed. So, like, I can understand how he's viewing her. I just think when it comes to industrial experience, you don't have to have a huge resume, but you have
Mhm.
to at least act the part of no job is too small when you're being paid for an opportunity.